So now we're back in the creator space, and I want to speak about this notion of recursive feedback. That's the idea that I want to be speaking about in this particular video. So see over here, this is the feedback area, and already in an earlier video we discussed the types of feedback that are offered in Scholar. Reviews, so here we have the review criteria, the review results, and the place where you review, where you actually give something a score and where you write an explanation. We have an annotations area where if I go onto view mode, I can actually make annotations in a work which are detailed in-text comments. So let's say I want to say, rather he contends that educators, I want to talk about that. I create annotation and I go add either a comment or a suggestion and I can actually code the change suggestion. Right, so and I can add that. I can make a publication recommendation and I can run the checker. These are all forms of feedback that occur in this particular environment. Now if I want to see the history of all that feedback, see here if I go view in browser and I want to see open version reviews, all recent versions, I can see the whole history of the feedback around this work. So here we've got, so it was a practice analysis of a new learning ecology. That was the project that the student was working on in this case. Can technology save the lecture? This was version 1 of his work, and see it's got videos in it. It's got all sorts of media, very nicely laid out information. And this was the review of the first, the feedback of the first person, including the annotations that they put in, which are all marked through the text. This is the feedback of the second person, including the annotations they put in, and so on. And then this is version 2, which was produced as a result of the revisions that were given to that feedback, and you can see that it's a more extended, more thoughtful piece of work as a consequence of all those revisions that have been put through. So, and then there's another version that followed that. So what you can see here is we have a kind of a logic here about recursive feedback. So this is the work that the person is doing, and this then is the feedback area where you get feedback about the work. And of course you can always pull this slider backwards and forwards if you want to think more about the feedback or more about the work, and you can actually slide it entirely out of the way if you want to. So these two sides of the process, the work and the feedback around the work, means that we have an environment here of work and recursive feedback around that work. So in other words, it's dialogue. By recursive we mean not just feedback, but feedback on feedback, feedback loops. So that's one aspect of the recursive feedback that happens in Scholar. The second aspect is in the dashboard area where a number of metrics are performed. So I've now moved